The Steelseries Siberia lineup has made quite a name for themselves in the gaming community since its inception over 10 years ago. The new Siberia V3s are here, but how do they compare with its predecessor? Are they worth ditching the V2s for? We're going to find out.
The WD Red family just got bigger. Now compatible with 16-bay solutions and available in up to 6 terabyte capacities. Click to learn more.
First of all, Wheels and I both use the V2s at home for our personal gaming pleasure. For me, they've been comfortable over long periods of use, the inline volume and mute have been convenient most of the time, and when they were for sale, they came in a wide range of colors. Now for the V3, there are actually two versions. We have the regular V3 and the V3 Prisms. Now the regular V3s offer a 3.5mm analog solution, whereas the V3 Prisms are the USB digital solution with RGB lighting. Actually, for an overview of the entire lineup of the new Siberias, you can click here for that video. Most of the aesthetic changes between the V2 and the V3 are quite subtle. These changes include the suspension band's look and materials, the ear pads, microphone, and the cable of the headset. The suspension band on the V3s are now comprised of a uniform material, whereas the V2s had two distinct materials. The new ear pads are made of noise-reducing memory foam that's ever so slightly softer compared to the V2s. The mic is definitely more posable, meaning it stays where you want it. Now the cable on that headset is probably where we see the biggest changes. The V2s had inline volume and mute functions like I mentioned earlier, and the V3s, however, they've completely removed any sort of inline controls. Instead, they've moved the mic-mute function to the back of the headset. This is actually quite handy since you don't have to fish down the line to find the controls. However, I am a bit sad that they did not include any sort of volume controls on the V3. You will also notice that the cables terminate in different ways. The V2s have two 3.5mm plugs, one for mic and one for headphones, and the V3 just has a single 4-pole 3.5mm jack. This change was made because Steelseries has recognized that more and more people do tend to use their headsets with their mobile devices. Now don't worry, the V3s do include a PC extension cable. Now onto the Prisms. They're exactly the same as the V3s except they are USB and they have RGB lighting. A grand total of 16.8 million colors can be adjusted in the Steelseries Engine software. You can either have steady colors or cycle through the entire rainbow with color shift. It's time for another installment of Storytime with Jack. It's quite obvious that the 3.5mm headsets that are on this table were easier to compare on PC and on my cell phone. But with the Prisms, it's a bit harder to do so since cell phones don't have USB ports. But I found out by accident that the Prisms actually work with an on-the-go cable for your cell phone. This way I was able to test all three headsets on a single device for a more fair comparison. But FYI, the OTG feature didn't work that well on other phones like the OnePlus One. There was zero control over volume. It was either max volume or muted. But with the Z2, I was able to control the volume to a comfortable setting. Now on to user experience. The V3s are actually surprisingly more comfortable than the V2s. I feel like they sacrificed a bit of the clamping force though to do so, but it's a welcome change. As for audio, I personally still prefer the sound from my V2s over the V3 and V3 Prism. It seems like the audio wasn't as clear on the V3s as they were on the V2s, but the bass was definitely punchier in the V3s, which I enjoyed. But you also have to keep in mind that I've had my V2s for quite some time now, so they've been burned in a lot more, and I've only had the V3s in my possession for about a week. As for noise reduction, I would say the V3s didn't do better or do worse when compared to filtering out the outside noises when compared to the V2s. And as for the microphone, I recorded a simple sentence with all three headsets, and here they are. This is the microphone test for the V2 Siberia. Pop goes the weasel, ticky-tock, while Susie sells seashells by the seashore. This is a test for the white V3 Siberias. Pop goes the weasel, ticky-tock, while Susie sells seashells by the seashore. This is the microphone test for the V3 Prisms. Pop goes the weasel, ticky-tock, while Susie sells seashells by the seashore. So you can be the judge which one might sound better to your ears. Personally, I think the USB ones sound the best, but leave a comment down below and let us know what you thought of each mic. So, in conclusion, the V3s definitely give the V2s a run for their money. Although I still prefer the sounds of my V2s, I'm sure that once the V3s have been broken in a bit more, then they should have a very nice sound signature of their own. The V3s are more comfortable with prolonged use. It's got a better posable, slimmer mic, a much needed mute switch on the back of the ear cup versus an inline one, but a missing volume dial was a bit of a bummer. With the Prism versions, you get an extra bit of customization with the RGB lighting. Oh, and did I mention that most of the Siberia lineup works with PCs, Macs, and PlayStations? Add on the fact that I accidentally discovered that the Prisms work with OTG adapters, the Siberias are truly a jack of all trades in the headset world. Terrible puns aside though, I give the Siberias 8.5 out of a possible 10 abominable snowmen. And hopefully, like the V2s, these will come in a wide range of colors. And my dear viewers, if you would like to buy your very own pair of Siberia V3 or V3 Prisms, or SteelSeries others headsets, links are in the description. Be sure to check them out. That's it for this episode. Be sure to like and share this video and subscribe for more from NCIX. We'll see you later.